All for one, and one for all!
Barbie stuff tends to get a bad rap. From the dolls being sexist, despite it promoting that you can be who you want to be, to the video games and movies being awful just based on how they look. Honestly though, Barbie is awesome. I don't have any of my old toys because it was like a wicked long time ago, but every time I'm at a store that sells toys, I make it a point to walk through the Barbie section, just in hopes that one day I'll break and finally get one of those sweet-looking fashionista dolls. Especially this one. Look at her! She's so cute and pastel! I adore her! And we, of course, have to touch on the gamer Barbie that came out a while back. She's still sold in game stores around me, and although I thought it was a bit silly at first, I now realize that in this day and age where video game culture is more prominent than ever, it's pretty important to show girls that they can make games too. The same can be said for the movies. I've actually watched every Barbie movie to this date, and I check back every now and again to see if there's another one in the works. Turns out while making this video, a new one came out that is fittingly about video games, Barbie Video Game Hero. All of the 3D movies still hold up pretty well to this day, despite their most likely intentional doll look in earlier ones. Princess and the Pauper, Island Princess, Three Musketeers, Princess Charm School, and Rockin' Royals are my top faves, with Three Musketeers and Princess Charm School fighting for top spot. Where am I going with this Barbie love though? Well, title of the video. Duh. Barbie and the Three Musketeers is a retelling of the movie of the same name. It also includes cutscenes straight from the movie, along with the less interesting still images to aid in the storytelling aspect. To start off, let's talk about the sprites. I adore them. They're so bouncy and colorful, and adds a really nice charm to the game that I wasn't expecting. The animations are also super nice and fluid, and for a game that I'm sure the creators knew wasn't going to be a giant hit with DS owners, there's still a lot of super nice sprite work done here that is super pleasing to me. Each level has 3 stages to get through, using your character's special abilities to aid you in collecting coins and reaching the end. Control-wise, it's a bit touch and go, feeling stiff when they jump, which made for a few frustrating moments of me having to climb back up. The 3 stages are also a bit too long. 2 would have been a lot better, but I get that they were just trying to elongate the game as much as possible while still attempting to be playable. I mean, they managed to do it, so good on them. I didn't really have a I want to stop playing moment like I have in most shovelware games. One thing about this game is that its story changes a bit compared to the original movie. It starts off the same way, Corinne going off to Paris to become a musketeer but being rejected due to her being a girl. However, in the movie, you meet all of the 3 supporting characters at the same time, and they spend their day working at the castle as servants before a chance encounter with another servant, Elaine, who takes them under her wing and trains them as musketeers. In the game, you meet Vivica first, who introduces you to Elaine, who is already her mentor. Throughout the rest of the game, you slowly meet the rest of the girls who have trained under Elaine for a seemingly long time. Before I continue, can I just say, one of my favorite tidbits is that in the original movie, this guy, main baddie McGee, or Philippe, is voiced by Tim Curry, who also voices Aurel Rendon Howe in Dragon Age Origins. The first time I watched the movie, I instantly didn't trust him just because of this. Never trust anyone voiced by Tim Curry. Ever. And no, I don't know what a Gabriel Knight is, but I don't trust him. The worst part of this game by far is the cat companion. First and foremost, she will not shut up. She constantly reminds the player that
if Vivica uses her ribbons to swing from that peg, we can go exploring.
Or,
I bet you could climb across this spot, Corinne.
Hey, Mittens, Princess, Snowball, pet companion for plush merchandise, could you keep your mouth closed for like 5 minutes? Please? Like, I know how to use the abilities, please shut up. This isn't even isolated to the first level. No, this stupid cat will remind you of the abilities you have been continuously using even at the end of the game. You also control the cat at times to get coins from small corners, or to press buttons not able to be reached by the humans. The cat controls aren't fun. Her jumping is even worse than the humans, and her attack reach is so small I would get hit way too much. Cat aside, the rest of the game is pretty much your basic platformer, just with a little bit of stiffness and movement. Going into this without a lot of expectations, I was pretty surprised when after the first 2 levels I actually ran into something different than just jumping on platforms. Despite the simplistic nature of it due to its age demographic, the boss fights that pepper the game were surprisingly fun. They're also the most interesting parts of the game, mostly because of the fairly samey platforming levels. These battles honestly saved the game for me, and I really wish they had added more just because of how nice of an addition they were. To avoid using this character for the rest of this, Corinne has swords, Vivica has ribbons, Aramina has a violin, Renee dances, and Miette is the annoying cat. The first boss has you face off against Brutus, the apparent royal guard dog who doesn't seem to like us very much. You need to knock the crates off of the ledges above you and hit Brutus with them as he runs after you. I was super ignoring our feline friends, so I thought I was supposed to hit the barrels at first, and getting Brutus to line up with the boxes while trying not to get hit by his barking attack is a bit touch and go. Still pretty fun for a first boss that I wasn't even expecting. The second boss is facing off against a guard that I'm like 99% positive wasn't in the actual movie, but is fun nonetheless. Use Vivica, who you meet up with shortly after Brutus's fight, to swing from hook to hook and get behind this giant knight and strike him. After taking down his life bar, he gets a second phase where you must wait for him to stomp hard enough for barrels to drop and shoot them back at him. In his third phase, he grabs a barrel and throws it at you, which will open up an area for Miette to climb up and hit a button that will drop a whack load of barrels on his head, shattering his armor and making him extremely vulnerable, where you will then proceed to ribbon him to death. The first phase of the third fight, I wasn't sure what I was supposed to actually do. I just took Aramina and took a hit while striking the statue with an arrow to knock him out and wail on him until the second phase. He sends out Brutus during this phase, and you have to swing back and forth as Vivica while Brutus chases you, causing the dog to go flying into the wall, making Eyepatch Man yell at him and leaving him open to attacks. Rinse and repeat until you get the prompt to trap him in a chandelier and win. Our final boss, Rendon Philippe, has a swinging behind him with Vivica, similar to the giant knight in the second boss fight. However, you must hit him with Corinne or he'll laugh at you for bringing ribbons to a sword fight. It's fair enough. You can also use Corinne's hanging ability to get behind him as well, making it a bit easier if you keep forgetting to switch before striking him. In the second phase, he throws his swords at you, and using Renee to jump to the higher ledges, avoid his daggers while continuing to wail on him with Corinne until he throws a second sword, giving us two nice platforms to jump between, and him with one final weapon that he uses to disarm Corinne if he gets too close. This is my least favorite part of this fight, because for some reason, you can't pick up your own sword. Instead, you gotta jump around like an idiot until the prince picks it up and throws it at you. There were a few times where the prince would throw it at me, just for Corinne to get disarmed immediately afterwards because Philippe was right next to her. I mean, come on! After a lot of
Have at him!
I lay the final blow on Philippe and win the game. Heck yeah! You also get a pretty rewarding final cutscene straight from the movie, and a super nice looking purple outfit for your Musketeers if you decide to go back and collect more coins to complete your gallery in the extras menu. Speaking of, finding and collecting coins actually has a purpose outside of a high score. In the extras menu, there's a shop where you can purchase different outfits for your Musketeers and Miette. I think I enjoyed this more than I should have, and spent a bit of time deciding who would look best in what after I spent a bunch of coins buying dresses. You can also buy moments or images that will fill up in the two other options in the extras menu that I didn't actually really pay attention to. I really don't care about galleries in video games. Additional content that actually changes the game though? Always good. Adored the outfits. I loved the message this game continued to promote. Stand up for yourself and for what you believe in. Don't let someone tell you that you can't do something or be something just because it's never been done before.
I bet you could climb across this block, Corinne.
Thanks, Miette. I don't know if I actually enjoyed Barbie and the Three Musketeers quite like I enjoy some of my favorite video games, but I didn't hate it. It's a lot better than I'm sure a lot of people were expecting a Barbie game to be, you know? Don't get me wrong, this isn't like a sleeper hit of the DS that everyone missed out on. It was just okay. Playable. I know I'm releasing this on like April Fools, but I don't mean this as like a joke. I mean it as an actual like, hey, it's alright. It's not a joke this time. This time.